He needn't have worried, though. For me, the attachment was so instant, so profound. I knew Huck had finally found his forever home. Huck pounced into some shrubs and scared a pair of robins from their shelter. Robins, with their marmalade-colored bellies, were always the first to arrive. Spring was just starting to peel back the dreary layers of winter. It wouldn't be long before Frostfall Island burst to life with all the critters lucky enough to call it home. Frostfall Island was one of those elusive places no one could find on a map. It was neither north nor south, east nor west. It wasn't close to the equator and was still far enough from the North Pole. Frostfall wasn't lush and humid like a tropical island. At the same time, it wasn't a mass of frozen tundra like Iceland. The island's mood was fickle, depending on the weather and where you stood. If you peered across the moors on the northeast corner during a frosty fog, you could half expect a dark and brooding Heathcliff to wander out of the Gothic mist. But on the sunny westernmost edge of the island, a bike ride and a double scoop of mocha fudge marble seemed more in order. Most people, even on the Atlantic coast, had never heard of Frostfall Island, and we liked it that way. Michael used to say Frostfall was like that small Hawaiian island that no one could remember the name of, but that was far more beautiful than its popular sisters, Oahu and Maui. There were numerous islands off the eastern coast, some that were too rocky and wild to inhabit, and some with real estate in such high demand only the wealthy could afford it. Frostfall was somewhere in between. It had its own little place in the Atlantic universe, and once I'd landed here, I knew I, too, had found my forever home. Huck trotted ahead but stopped at the curve halfway along the trail. He knew I would stop there, too, the same spot I paused at every time we hiked along Beach Plum Trail. My breath produced cloudy puffs in the early morning chill. The tin tray of watercolors had grown cold in my hand by the time I reached Huck. The dog was staring off at the horizon as if he was remembering that fateful day. The day that Huck and I stood to wave at Michael as his fishing trawler rounded the southern tip of the island. His glossy yellow rain slicker glistened in the cloud-filtered sunlight as he waved to us from his wheelhouse. Huck and I stood on that same curve every day for a year, no matter how thick and cold the fog or how brittle and sharp the wind. I'd blow Michael good luck kisses, and Huck would bark his goodbyes. Gosh, how Michael hated the sound of Huck's bark. "That dog's bark sounds like someone chewing on a mouthful of gravel," he would complain with a laugh.